subscribe? Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
Another thing I want to talk about, by the way. Have y'all noticed the white supremacist? They're using a term now called Heritage American. Have y'all heard about that, family? The white supremacists are using this new term that they didn't started like either this year or late last year called Heritage American. Have y'all heard that? And there's been a couple of articles about it. Now, what does this thing mean? Heritage American. It's kind of vague, but what they're trying to make it seem like they have ancestral ties to early American settlers, especially the white Europeans. And they're trying to say they got like cultural inheritance from the founding period, the Revolutionary War, and then all the frontier expansion, all this. They're using all these terms, so but they're still being kind of vague. They're talking about traditional American values, Christian patriotism, gun ownership, all this stuff. So they're trying to say this a heritage American is somebody who's basically white, um, of northern Western European descent. They ain't talking about the Greeks and the Italians and all these other people. They're talking about pretty much the Anglo Protestants. And I guess it means the people who have multiple generations of ancestors born in the Americas. And basically, it's a carbon copy of the foundational Black American movement. That's really all it is. These people and sat up here and tried to make a carbon copy of the foundational Black American Renaissance movement. You understand? It's basically a counter framework to our lineage based identity as foundational Black Americans, which emphasizes historic roots, ladies and gentlemen. Our cultural contributions, our justice claims, everything rooted in slavery, post-slavery survival. So the white supremacists, they recognize the political and social power of our foundational Black American lineage, and they see how big it's gotten and how much the movement has taken off. So they basically tried to construct their own little version of it so they can try to reclaim moral authority and then equate their identity struggle with that of ours. See, they saw the foundational Black American identity really gaining traction, so they want to hijack the format now. You know, the foundational Black American movement, it has successfully centered lineage, culture, and justice claim around a uniquely American Black identity. All right. So that has sparked massive cultural and political attention. And in response, the white supremacists, they like, well, shit, we can mimic that. So they're trying to manufacture their own identity term, heritage American, to try to reassert this cultural dominance that they really didn't have, and redirect attention and sympathy towards whiteness under the guise of preserving tradition, which they don't have. Everything they get, the culture comes from us. You understand? Because when we talk about being a foundational Black American, that includes all the culture that we've created. They don't have no culture other than exploitation and stealing. They don't have no culture. That's why it's not really working for them. Heritage American, that's like a dog whistle to try to repackage the white identity politics. And they're just trying to rewrite American history using the FBA blueprint. See, we have successfully reclaimed and corrected the narrative of American history to highlight Black foundational contributions. All right. So, in contrast, this heritage American rhetoric that's designed to retell history through a white centric lens to try to glorify settler colonialism and manifest destiny while they're trying to erase the Black contributions. Let me tell you something. All of their expansions, these white supremacists didn't go nowhere on this land without us as their damn guides. Everywhere they went, they had to have us with them. You understand? Everything these people do, every time they move somewhere, they needed us right there with them, guiding them. So yeah, their little thing ain't gonna work because it's rooted in lies, and they see how dominant our movement is. You understand? Because see, the white supremacists, they feel like they're losing control over the narrative. So they need a new identity anchor. See, for years, the white identity was the default in America, but the rise of, our renaissance happening right now, and we are refusing to let other people co-opt or speak for us. That's shaking control now. So they can't use tethers no more. See, tethers were very important to the white supremacists when it came to us. That's not working no more. So they then created their own little label so they can try to reestablish a racial anchor that allows them to operate the identity based era without being labeled explicitly racist. Yeah. They understand that foundational Black Americans and us delineating, we're setting the tone for ethnic consciousness in America. The foundational Black Americans, we're pioneering a cultural and a political awakening that's centered on lineage, pride, and economic justice and historical clarity. See, the white supremacists, they see that this movement is not just popular, but it's influential and it's contagious. We got the globe recognizing our foundational Black American lineage, good or bad. You're going to love it or hate it, but you're going to respect it because it is what it is. So this heritage American, that's a copycat ass movement. That's all it is. They again, they have to copy everything we do with this heritage American. That's a carbon copy of what we're doing. You see? See, the thing is, why do they need to do that? See, the white supremacists, they need a counter narrative to the foundational Black American Renaissance movement. They need that because this thing has intimidated them majorly. Because see, the thing is, foundational Black Americans, we've gained respectability, legitimacy, mainstream usage. So the white supremacists, they're faced with a dilemma. How can they rebrand white identity in a way that doesn't openly scream racism? So Heritage American, that's their new little rebrand. You understand? But it's still vague. They're still very vague about it because what's the heritage? Well, the heritage is white supremacy. What's the heritage? They want to rewrite American history using our blueprint, and they're losing control of the narrative. You understand? And the thing is, they needed a counter narrative because foundational Black Americans, we challenge the myth of white American exceptionalism. They love talking about all this merit based this and all we were exceptional. No, no, no. Y'all exploited Black people. See, the foundational Black American movement, ladies and gentlemen, that exposes the lie that white Americans built this country alone. Tethers love saying that shit too. The white man built this country. You didn't build shit. You tried to do it on your own and you failed. I always point that out. You didn't build anything on your own. You did not at all, especially the culture. So when we document and assert our undeniable contribution as foundational Black Americans to building America's wealth, the culture, the military, the institutions, the we strip the white supremacists of their foundational myth because they know we're telling the truth. Yeah, we're reminding everybody these people didn't do this and couldn't do this on their own. So that shakes the whole psychological framework of white dominance, which is built on the falsehood that whiteness is inherently superior and foundational to America's success. No. And this is very important. I want y'all to understand something, family. The foundational Black American movement. Do y'all know, family? This is the first movement, the first Black movement in America that can't be co opted or controlled. This is the very first movement that cannot be co opted or controlled at all. See, unlike a lot of these past civil rights movements, they eventually got infiltrated, they got redirected, they got reabsorbed into some mainstream liberal or immigrant narrative. The foundational Black American movement is lineage based, grassroots led, unapologetically autonomous, and that makes it impossible for the white supremacists to use their typical divide and conquer tactics on it. See, that kind of self definition and control over the narrative, that's terrifying to the people who rely on confusion and control to maintain dominance. Does that make sense, family? This is how powerful the Renaissance is, family. See, the cultural influence of foundational Black American, it can't be matched or replicated. You understand? We're the we are not only the cultural engine here in the United States, we're the cultural engine in the whole world. Family, when you travel outside of this country and go around the world and look at people and how they act, they're acting like us. They're dressing like us, dancing like us, doing their hair like us. We are the cultural influence of the world. That's either true or not true. Show me where it's not the case. If it ain't true, you show me where somebody ain't acting like us. I went to Easter Island and they were up there dressed like us. Easter Island is in the middle of damn nowhere, literally, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And these people up here dressed in hip hop clothes. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? We are the cultural engine of the world. And the thing is, they see that this global influence exists without colonization, without violence, and without institutional power. That contradicts the whole worldview that power must come from domination. The fact that foundational Black Americans, we continue to influence the world without needing to conquer any damn body, that undermines the core logic of white supremacy. That's why all eyes are always on us. Everybody's studying us. How do these Negroes do it? Like I said, in order for the white supremacists to influence people, you got to go murder every damn body. You got to go terrorize people. We are influencing the world and we didn't have to fire a shot. That's power. That's power, family. And the white supremacists, whenever we show cultural power, boy, they got to co opt it. The music, they got to rewrite the history with hip hop. Oh, it was blacks and Latinos. So we're going to give cultural power to the blacks. No, 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 no. Give it to some of the Latinos. This is a movement where we're flexing our cultural power and you can't give it away to nobody. Oh, that's powerful. That is powerful. So, foundational Black Americans, we're forcing America to confront the true founders, not the mythological ones. See, this is not just a cultural shift. This is a recentering of American identity itself. When we declare that foundational Black Americans are the true moral and cultural founders of this nation, through slavery, war, innovation, resistance, that replaces that old narrative of white Christian male settlers being the rightful heirs to this country. So the narrative that we're putting out, which is a correct narrative, that's threatening to the white supremacists because that makes them spiritually and culturally irrelevant. Do y'all understand? And listen, like I said, this is the only movement, this is the only Black movement that cannot be co opted or controlled. They've hijacked every other Black movement. The civil rights movement, they didn't hijack that. The Black Power movement, they hijacked that. It was all types of you had the Brown Panthers and the Dalit Panthers. You had everybody co-opting and getting a part of that. Pan-Africanism, that's co-opted. Black Lives Matter, that was co-opted. It was Black Lives Matter, then you get out there, and then trans lives matter, and then immigrants matter. So a lot of these black movements would get co-opted by outside forces, government agencies, immigrant-led factors. So a lot of these movements, they would start with righteous goals, but then they were later reframed to serve these broader agendas like multiculturalism, feminism, LGBTQ politics, people of color narratives, and they would dilute the original focus that was supposed to be on Black Americans. But yeah, we've recentered everything, and we are forcing the narrative to be focused and centered on us. You see, Pan Africanism, that became a tool to disconnect foundational Black Americans away from our specific lineage struggles. See, Pan Africanism, it's well meaning in theory, because we as foundational Black Americans, we don't have no problem with Black people globally. We don't have, y'all want to link up and click up, that's fine. The problem is, you got all of these other groups who have tribal dispositions, and we're sitting up here thinking, okay, our good brother, we all Black. They're sitting up here like, oh, let me exploit these Akatas. So we got too much of that. So we just can't open the door and let everybody in based on their melanin. We have to start doing lineage checks because we saw too much off code behavior coming from people who were trying to undermine us. So that's why it was important for us to center our lineage. You understand? And even the term foundational Black American, it's such an ethnically codified term. The term cannot be adopted by outsiders. That's why they've been fussing and fighting and hemming and hawing about the term. It is xenophobic. I can't co-opt it, nigga. It is xenophobic. See, the vague terms like Black or African American or people of color, eh, those are disempowering for the most part. The term foundational Black American, it's locked into a very specific historic lineage. No immigrant, it means you're not from an immigrant background, or you have a relative or descendant or an ancestor who's not from an immigrant background. So the thing is, no immigrant, no Pan Africanist, no white liberal, nobody can really use it without being immediately challenged on factual lineage. If you try to co opt it, you are a tether. And the tethers are getting called out. And they hate that. They hate getting called out as tethers. So this lineage based classification with cultural and political and legal implications, that's threatening to these people. And it repels infiltration and co-opting. And foundational Black Americans, we don't rely on white media, white academia, or any institutions for validation, and that's a threat. See, the reason why a lot of earlier movements were co-opted, that was because they had dependence upon these external validations. They needed the white run media, they needed university platforms, nonprofit grants, and government endorsements, all this stuff. The foundational Black American Renaissance, it thrives outside of those structures. We use independent media to communicate, direct communication with the grassroots, our cultural influence to build power. So that autonomy is real threatening to all the power structures because, see, you cannot cancel or defund something you can't control. You understand? That's why they always try to assign leaders. That's a desperate attempt to try to control us. And that doesn't work. Because, see, we've created a wall, the foundational Black American movement has created a wall against opportunists by making lineage and contributions to that lineage the main criteria of us recognizing our ethnic group. See, many of these other movements, it left the door open for opportunists, shady politicians, white liberals, immigrants, all these people to slide in and speak on behalf of blackness without really contributing to the black struggle here. We cut that off by making everybody, you're gonna have to show some receipts. Who's your ancestors? What sacrifices did you make? What were your cultural contributions? So that's gatekeeping. That's not hate. Other folks do the same thing. They don't let us latch on to their culture. We're not letting people latch on to ours and undermine it. We're having historical accuracy right now and justice, and we're making it lineage based, not ideological based, but it's lineage based. You see, and the thing is, the foundation of Black American movement, it's decentralized, but it's unified. See, unlike a lot of these past movements, you got people running around here, the leaders and all that. No, 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 no. This is a decentralized movement of recognizing our lineage. Ain't no leader, none of that stuff. We're united based on our lineage. That's powerful. So, them trying to attack people and discredit, especially me, they always try to discredit me. That doesn't work because I'm not the leader of anybody. I never claimed to be. If I got abducted by aliens tomorrow, you guys are still going to be foundational Black Americans. That doesn't change your lineage. Like, that nigga is a grifter. All that don't change nothing. Lineage is lineage. None of that changes anything. Hey, you know what the tethers do? It's a weird thing. Well, they try to discredit me. Not just the tethers, some of the DNC, because a lot of the people from the DNC, they try to discredit me by putting out a lot of weird information about me. And one thing they do, they pull up pictures of me with women back in the day. They'll find old pictures of me in the 90s with women, and they're like, look at this nigga with these bitch eyes. When did that become, when did that, I'm old, but when did that become negative? What kind of insult is that? Showing me with women back in the day. Duh. Okay, I don't know what. I guess I'm guilty. Whatever y'all trying to say, I'm guilty because I was with a bunch of them back in the day. I don't know what that even means. They be showing pictures of me with women. Look at this. This is your leader. Look at these bitch eyes. Okay. Yeah, you got me on that one. Okay. I don't even know what the argument is. Uh, this is a womanizer. Okay. Showing me as a young man with women in the 90s. Family, tethers. Let me give y'all a news flash, tethers. That was kind of an FBA thing. If you go through the photos of foundational Black American men from the 90s, we had women, nigga. That was kind of a thing. It wasn't no internet. We were outside. That's kind of our thing. All right, just newsflash. That's not an anomaly. All of us were out here getting women back in the day. That's an FBA thing. Go find your uncles or somebody who's FBA and look at their pictures in the 90s. They booed up with some women. We kind of did that. That's what we did. That was kind of an FBA thing. We were outside. We weren't on nobody's internet. We was out here spitting and getting that was the thing. You go out and kick it with the homies, go get women. That was what we did. And I know a lot of tethers can't really imagine that. Back in the 90s, they were somewhere in Rwanda ducking arrows and shit. I don't know what you were doing in your homeland. You weren't getting women. So I know it looks strange to a lot of you folks, but y'all be all right. All right, let me get some calls in here. Let me get Brother Twizzle in the building. Let me get Twizzle in the building. Brother Twizzle, hop on, sir.
What's up with a player, man? You understand
What's
me?
going on with your playboy?
Man, you already know, man. They hate a player, man.
All day.
They hate a man they hate a man that know how to talk to women, that know how to be cool, calm, and collective. And as you always said, that got that gravatar of attraction that bring people to you. They hate that
Oh
shit.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And especially when we be out and about and they just see how women are attracted to us. Them tethers get highly upset because they don't know how to talk to women. They lead with their cash. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, they dress like they nerds from the 1980s flick and shit, running around here with pocket protectors and button ups and slacks and shit. Come on, man.
Yeah.
We easy spot you because y'all don't got a hairline or nothing. Y'all don't get a haircut, and the women can't do their hair for shit. They put on a wig, they put up a up wig and forgot to comb the hair up under it, get this shit flat out. So they're funny. You know what I'm saying? But hey, T, I just came up here to say, man, we lost a soldier in our battle, man. We lost our brother, Black Voltron, man. He died of a heart attack Tuesday, man. So, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I just want to say, man, we lost a soldier in the war, man. And if everybody possible, could we please support him, man? It's just all he had was his daughter. You know what I mean? And she doing the best she can. So I'm helping out. So if everybody can, just go by his page and please donate to his funeral because we got to bury the brother and we want to send him out like a ballad of a fallen soldier. You know what I'm
What
saying,
city
T?
was he in, by the way?
He's up here in the town with me.
Oh,
I had a pleasure and the honor of meeting that brother. We stood together at several reparations rallies up here in Oakland when we was looking at Camila Moore shopping and shit.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was up there with you at the one at Mills College up there in seminary. You know what I'm saying? The big tall dark skinned brother.
Listen,
You know what I'm saying?
good dude, real good brother, man.
Yeah, he's a real soldier, man. So I just want to say shout out, rest in peace to our brother. And we not finna let him go out like that. We finna send him out like a champ. You know what
No
I'm saying?
doubt.
So hey, T, I land my plane.
No doubt.
Peace.
Thank you, brother. And let me know, Twiz, when the funeral services are, because I might go up there to the town and go attend just to show love and respect. So let me know when the funeral is for that brother. Yeah, that'd give me an excuse to go up there to the town. Yeah, I've been wanting to go back up to the Bay anyway. Oh man. Shout out to everybody in here. We're in here deep. We're in here deep. All right. Now let me get some of these. I see a lot of women's in here. Let's see who we got. I see a lot of women's in here. And boy, these women be looking good. I be seeing them. They came, a lot of these sisters in here came to the museum last week, and boy, their asses was looking good in person. Boy, it's good when people look better in person than they do on pictures. I hate the reverse though. Motherfuckers be looking good in the picture and you show up, looking like Gabby Sidibe. And no, I'm not trying to disrespect Gabby Sidibe. I'm not trying to beat up on that sister, and she's cool in her own right. Let me not beat up on that sister. I don't want to be mean spirited. Um, Brainiac, Brainiac, hop in. Yo, Brainiac, where you at? Brainiac, Brainiac, where you at? All right, Brainiac ain't saying nothing. Let's get let's get brother Torin in the building. Brother Torin in the building. Brother Torin. I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. Just up on the early morning on Saturday. But I got a question for you.
Yes.
Um, the federal government is really starting to shed a lot of people, and a lot of black people who have been able to kind of like eat off the government that way, just feel like they was better than other black people. Are starting to lose a lot of these gigs. Do you think that this is going to start create a reset in the black community? Because a lot of black people who were really tied to the Democratic Party or even the Republican Party are finding out that their daddy don't love them no more,
Right.
and they got to come back home. So do you think that's going to cause a reset in some of our households? I'd love to get your thoughts.
Yeah. I think. Thank you. Very. Yeah, because now we're going to have to start depending on each other. We're going to have to start looking out for each other. We're going to have to start making sure people in the community is good like we used to do back in the day. That's going to make us focus. And again, delineating is very important. So we know who's who. We start looking into people's backgrounds and getting on code with that. And just us making sure that we are all good, which is what we used to do. That's what we used to do. Even before welfare and EBT and all that, we just looked out for each other because we knew that we were all we had. That's why things like the Great Depression, things like that, it affected some of us, but not as severely as those in the dominant society. Because when there was like a gift and a curse, a lot of black folks were actually thriving during the Great Depression, especially like in places like New York. There were some black people who were suffering, but a lot of black people were thriving because they didn't lose their money in banks. See, a lot of people who had their money in banks during the Great Depression, they lost their money. So they were jumping out of windows. They were far up in the game. Because many banks were discriminatory towards black people, we'd have our money in the mattresses, which you know how your grandma and them We had your money in a bucket in the back of the yard. We had, a lot of our resources and wealth on our property. So, we still had paper a little bit. That's why a lot of these white people who are criminals, they were hiding out in the black community because we were still taking care of each other because we had some resources to kind of look out for each other still. So it was a very interesting dynamic. All right, let's get Brock. Let's get Mr. Brock in here. Mr. Brock. Brock has the whitest name on earth. Brock Frieden. All right. What's going on with you, Brock?
Hey, Tariq, I just wanted to say that you run a really good space, and I really appreciate all your
Yes,
efforts.
sir.
I was laughing when you're talking about how people try and like denigrate you and bring up pictures from your past and somehow use that. It kind of reminded me of what people try and do with me. So
Oh yeah.
I'm glad that
Go ahead.
you're supporting people
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and looking out for Black people. And I'm being persecuted, and if anybody knows what it's like to be persecuted, as far as like how Black people have been persecuted historically, it is me. And I don't mean to be insulting in any way when I say that.
Now why are they
I just mean that
persecuting you?
uh, there's been a bunch of gag orders against me over the last 10 years that prevent me from posting memes or posts online.
Mm.
And they constantly come after me and claim that like any posting or using of names is harassment. So they've tried to just basically silence me.
Oh damn. Damn. Now how long has this been going on?
10 years.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay, well, I believe in free speech, and thank you for the call, by the way. Yeah, I believe in free speech. People should say what they want to say, as long as you're not harassing people. And I don't know the particulars of your case, so I really can't speak on it. Let me get Tony Ellis in the building. Tony Ellis, Mr. Tony. Waiting on Tony to unmute that mic, and he has a little connection thing going on. Waiting on that. I see Juicy down there. What's up, Juicy? I see Miss Strella. What's up, Miss Strella? The hell you been hiding, Miss Strella? Where the hell has Miss Strella been hiding? Okay. Let's get on. I'm trying to get some of these new faces in here. Tony, I'm waiting on Tony to get in. His phone is a little janky. So he's trying to get it together. Let's get Copper Candy. Let's get Copper Candy in here. All right, Copper Candy, hop on in. All right. I'm gonna try to get people fast. Copper Misty. Let's try Misty. Copper color candy in the building. Copper color candy in the building.
Hey Tariq,
What's up, beloved? How are you?
I'm great. I didn't know that I touched the mic,
Oh,
but
okay.
I just wanted to say that I think that I'm in the chat, I'm hyping it up. So I really didn't have anything to say, but you are such a blessing in my life. I appreciate everything that you're doing. I'm not really a speaker like that, so I just wanted to pass on some blessings to you.
But I love that, beloved. Thank you so much, sister. Much respect to you. All right, let's get some more. Let's get EJ in here, brother EJ. Brother EJ in the building. EJ, what's up, man? EJ in the building. I'm good. How you doing, fam?
I just want to say rest in power to our brother Black Voltron. He was an uncode soldier,
Yes.
man, holding it down for the West Coast. And I want to say fuck you to that Tedder who just got off the line because he's mad because his father's blow up doll ain't giving him no plastic pussy like he used to get when he was a teenager. And it's such a shame that these cowards call up into these spaces like that other roach, that fuck nigga that called up here yesterday talking all that shit about the family and especially your brother Eric. I don't know why these roaches get so mad at me when you out here telling the truth. Being a tether is a behavioral problem because I'm just gonna keep it real. I mess with a black woman who's on code in different parts of the world as long as she don't be over here in her divestment wig, don't be smelling like expired Duke's mayonnaise and Jollof.
Uh,
So if you got your mind right, you can come mess with your boy Eric Johnson. I go to work every day. I don't be out here being on rerun episodes of cheaters and niggas throwing bamboo sticks at me. I'm quick to dodge those. But yeah, man, if y'all can donate to our brother Black Voltron and just keep these musty tethers off our spaces, but still roast them at the same time, that'd be a great help. Because once we get out here and support our people when they're down and out or they pass away and go to the heaven above, then that just shows us that we always got to be on code. Because these tethers don't know nothing about helping people out with one of their musty tethers died. They be up here, buying caskets off Temu.com, and these be falling out of them. So, they don't know nothing about coming together and forming like Voltron and, doing right for your long lost brother and sister. Because this is what family is all about. We might not be together spiritually, but in a physical manner, when it comes to us helping our people out, we always got to come together and do our own thing. But with that being said, Tether, stop getting mad, man. Get your game up together. Get you some toothpaste, some Jollof scented candles, and maybe you can get one of these white women to give y'all a green card instead of just getting ashy cocaine residue on y'all kneecaps. But with that being said, Tariq, you can drop me down and rest in peace to Black Voltron. Salute to you,
Man,
brother.
respect. Yes, sir. All right. Shut it. Oh, Lord, Bushmeat Barrister. Do y'all want to hear from Bushmeat Barrister, ladies and gentlemen? Do you want to hear from Bushmeat Barrister? Because, yeah, now we're getting a lot of the three musty tears are coming in. I see GT. I see Big GT. So, yeah, this is the musty hour. We get all the musty, lying, scamming tethers right around this time. Oh, a lot of folks are giving the thumbs down. They don't want to hear from Bushmeat Barrister. And I don't know if they want to hear from the three musty tears. I don't know if they want to hear from them.
That's that root work flavor, bold and divine. Root work flavor, gotta get that shine. Root work flavor, feeling fresh and new. 'Cause root work deodorant chooses you. Smooth on the skin, class in your soul. You wear root work when you're in control. That's that root work flavor, bold and divine. When you wear that root work, your light is gonna shine. That's that root work flavor, gotta get that shine. 'Cause root work